In the final days in Egypt, Moses relays to the Jewish people some important information necessary in how to observe the first Passover in Egypt. This would be the night that would lead to the 10th plague, the striking of the Egyptian firstborns, and then the exodus from Egypt. One of the mitzvahs they learn about is eating Matza, the unleavened bread, and not Chametz, the leavened bread. In Shemos chapter 12, verse 17, Moshe says as follows, Ushemartem es hamatzos, and you shall watch over the unleavened bread. Why must we watch over matzahs? To make sure that they should not become leavened. It is from here that the rabbis derived many laws. For example, that if the dough started to swell, the person rolling it out must moisten it with cold water. We must constantly be on top of it, making sure it doesn't become chametz. This is the origin of what is known today as shemura matzah, matzah which has been watched. But there's another teaching here, and it was taught to us by Rabbi Yoshia. Do not read the words, and you shall watch over es hamatzos. Rather read it, and you shall watch over es hamitzvos, the commandments. Just as we may not permit the matzah to become leavened, so may we not permit the commandments to become leavened, meaning to wait too long before we perform them. But if a commandment comes into your hand, perform it immediately. Rabbi Yoshia reveals to us a new idea. It's important to make sure that when mitzvahs become available to us, we perform them right away without delay. If we delay, if we procrastinate, if we say I'll get to it a little later, then not only is it possible to miss the opportunity, but it's even possible for the mitzvah to turn into chametz. We will spoil anything that was already done before. To help us understand this, I'll share with you an analogy. There is a story told of a miser who decided to purchase for himself a new suit for the first time after 25 years of marriage. This idea of making a new purchase took a lot of thought and contemplation for this individual. He finally made the decision to make the purchase a day before a Yom Tov, a holiday, when all the stores were preparing to close for the long weekend. The haberdasher was a little impatient, yet he did manage to find something that fit his new customer. However, the pants were too long. He would need to tailor it and hem 3 inches. The miser begins to bargain down the price until they settle and he makes the purchase. The only problem was the tailor had already closed his shop. And so he takes his new suit home, proud of his new purchase, but disturbed by the length of the pants. He comes home and he tells his wife about his new purchase and asks her if she can please cut 3 inches off and hem the pants for him. His wife found this as the perfect time to rehash some personal issues, and she begins to rebuke him. You aren't ashamed? Have you no self-respect? Has there ever been a miser like you? You couldn't pay another $25 and just get the pants properly fit in the store? I have things to do. I must clean and organize the house. I cannot do this for you. So the man turns to his 15-year-old daughter who just finished sewing lessons, and he asks her if she could please cut 3 inches off his pants and hem it for him to wear for the holiday. But she too has no time for him. Can't you see I'm in the middle of studying for my exams? I don't have time for this, she says. Having been rejected by his wife and his daughter, he's forced to turn to his mother-in-law, who had been living in his home ever since his father-in-law died 10 years prior. But she too wouldn't be silent. How much can I do, she rebukes him. All the babysitting I do for you. All the tasks of the house you push only onto me. What do you think? You're just going to show up with a new suit and I will stop all that I'm doing to tailor it for you? Completely dejected and full of regret for purchasing his new suit, the miser hangs it in the closet and goes to bed. At 12 a.m., his wife finishes her chores and feels really bad for her husband. I'm such a bad wife, she tells herself. All my husband wanted was to shorten his pants. In the past 25 years, he rarely asks me for anything personal. So she makes her way to the closet and tailors her husband's pants as he requested, thinking that tomorrow morning her husband will see and be thrilled. At 2 a.m., the daughter finishes studying for her upcoming exams, and she too feels bad for her father. All my father asked me to do was tailor his pants. Why did I react so nasty to him? So she decides to surprise him. She goes down to the closet, takes out the pants, takes off 3 inches and sews it up beautifully, thinking that tomorrow morning her father will wake up and be thrilled. At 4 a.m., the mother-in-law awakes to take some medications. And in a moment of self-reflection, she says to herself, how disgusting of a mother-in-law am I? I live in his house. He feeds me and gives me shelter. All he asked me was if I can tailor his pants one time in 25 years. How did I react so rudely to him? So she goes to the closet, takes out the pants, cuts 3 inches and hems it, anticipating a big smile on her son-in-law's face in the morning. The next day, the morning before the holiday would begin, the wife, daughter, and mother-in-law wait to see the joyous reaction. When behold, he tries it on, and it looks like a bathing suit. It's ruined forever, can never be worn. This is the meaning of Rabbi Yoshia. When you have the opportunity to do a mitzvah, do not push it off saying, I will do it later, lest it will turn to Chametz and will be worse off than before. Performing mitzvahs with alacrity is an expression of love for the one who gave the mitzvah. Procrastination is an expression of lack of love to the one who gave the mitzvah. This applies to interpersonal mitzvahs as well as the mitzvahs between man and God. We are to perform them with alacrity. It's never a good idea to push it off to later. I wish you a good Shabbos.